So good morning and welcome, actually, welcome back. We are back live for the first time in, feels like 10 years, but it's probably just a year and a half. And so we are really, really thrilled to be able to see some of our good friends live, sitting here, hopefully going to enjoy a great service. This might be for those of us live, it'd be a good time to either turn off or put on mute your cell phones. And I just want to say, we are doing what's called a hybrid service, which means we have people here live and we have people on Zoom. And to do that technically is not an easy chore. And so we just want to say, please be patient with us. This is the first time we've done it, and there might be some glitches, but we'll get it worked out. We will definitely get it worked out. And if there's anybody here or anybody watching that's never been to a Center for Spiritual Living before, we believe there's one God, many paths to that God, and we're here to love, honor, and support you no matter what your divine path is. And the Center for Spiritual Living Space Coast is a safe haven for people of all beliefs and lifestyles. Whoever you are and wherever you find yourself on your journey of faith, you're welcome here. I do have a few announcements. First of all, today our practitioner is my beautiful wife, Becky, and our reader is our beautiful congregant, Carol Gabika, and you're going to get a treat. I don't know what she's written, but it's always fabulous. So, we have a ministry of prayer for those of you in person that's over here, and for those of you that are watching. If you're in person, there are sheets here. If you would like myself, Reverend Jenna, and all of our practitioners to pray for you, a friend, a loved one, just fill out one of those forms, put it in the box, and we would be honored to do it. If you're watching us on Zoom, you can either email me, revronfox@gmail.com, or give me a call, 321-474-2030. And like I said, we have a group of practitioners here, and we also have some of my minister friends who, whenever we get a prayer request, we send it out, and we're all more than happy. In fact, we're honored to do it. Also, for those of you that are here, after we do the service and after we stick on Zoom and chat for a little bit, we're going to go out to lunch to River Rocks. Hope as many of you as possible could come. So I spoke before about the fact we're doing a hybrid service and there are technical difficulties. And I want to say we had two people in our congregation, Ed Powers and Barbara Loftus, who put in tons of work to make this possible. One of the days they were here for, I think, 2 or 2.5 hours, and Becky and I were here, and we left, and they still stayed. And then they came back the next week, and they worked for hours more. And then this past Wednesday they did, and they just did a fabulous job. There's no way we could thank you enough for everything you did. But Barb, if you'll come up, we do have something we'd like to give you to thank you. Ed, yeah, let's. Ed didn't know he would be here today. He thought he would be somewhere else. So we gave him his gift Friday when you left the room. Oh, but this is for you. It's a gift certificate to a restaurant we know you love. And thank you again. Two more announcements. The son of one of our congregants, Jim Grooms, Dave Grooms, who many of you local know, Dave made his transition several weeks ago, and Dave is known all over Brevard County for the wonderful music he played, that he sang, that he wrote, and for a period of time, he was our musician here every week, and everybody loved him, and we're so sorry. But Jim told me that this coming Saturday, right, Jim, the 17th, I think it is, there's going to be a musical memorial. All Dave's music friends are going to get together, and it's going to be at the H&D Roadhouse at 4 p.m. and that's on 520 on Merritt Island. And we'll put it on we'll put it on our website, Jen, to let everybody know. So one last announcement, and Becky's going to do that. Come up and talk about a class that she's going to be teaching in September.
Good morning. It's really nice to see all of you in person. The class that I'm going to be teaching is called Emergence, and it's based on the book Emergence: 7 Steps for Radical Life Change, written by Derek Rydell. It's a 5-week class, and it's going to be 2 hours each. And so are you struggling to improve something about yourself? You know, whether it's your health, your mindset, your relationships. And so throw aside all of the self-help books and recognize that the answer is already within you. And so Derek Rydell's method is based on the ancient principle of life, and it's the life of emergence. And it's like an acorn is a perfect acorn that becomes a perfect oak tree. And so we too have everything already within us that, you know, is going to fulfill our purpose in life. And all we have to do is, like that acorn, is just nurture and encourage, you know, this seed that's already perfect within us, that already has all of our potential, everything already here within us, to be encouraged to come forth. And so in this class, some of the things that you'll experience, you'll be introduced to the life visioning process that was created by Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith. And it's a process actually that Centers for Spiritual Living centers use quite often. You'll also be guided through meditations to help you birth your life vision. You'll cultivate congruent conditions that will match your vision. We'll be doing a lot of journaling, and you'll have the opportunity to share your experience in a safe environment. You'll learn how to create your quantum plan, and you'll have weekly written exercises and reading to do. And so what is required? All you have to do is just go on Amazon and buy Derek's book, Emergence. He has a lot of interesting information. It's a great read. And we'll be going through the different stages every week in class. The fee is $200 if it's paid by August 25th, $225 if it's paid on September 3rd or the first day of class. The location, we're going to do it via Zoom, and all the information will be emailed to you. So the date and time will be Saturdays beginning September 4th, 11th, 18th, and the 25th, and also October 2nd. It'll start at 10 a.m. until 12 noon. And so for registration, please send your name, your phone number, and your email to me. And it's Intervision. It's INNER, V as in Victor, S as in Sam, ION @gmail.com. And you can also give me a call at 321-474-2237 if you have any questions. So anyway, again, I look forward to teaching this. It's a process that I've done myself, and it's really, really good. And the sign-up sheet for those who are here is in the back. And I think that's it. Thank you. Right, and thank you, Ed. There's also a flyer in the back that you could take with you that has all of the information. Okay, so we're going to begin our silence just for a short time. And it'll lead into our opening prayer. So I just invite everybody to take some deep breaths in, releasing it, relaxing your body, allowing your mind to release all the activities that brought you here. And so from this place of peace and tranquility, serenity, this place that we know our oneness and infinite spirit, this divine power that is always here expressing itself easily and effortlessly through each of us. It is in the form and the formless, the seen and unseen. And I'm knowing my oneness in infinite power, that it is who and what I am. I'm knowing this for each person here, for each person who is watching this. I'm knowing that divine spirit is moving in its love, in its divine perfection in this morning's service. This infinite spirit is moving through Reverend Dr. Ron's words in his morning message, asking us, encouraging us to make a fresh start, to begin right now. I'm knowing that this infinite spirit is right here, moving and emerging through each one of us in our hearts, connecting with one another. And so grateful for everything that is unfolding. It's unfolding in divine perfection for each one of us here. And so knowing this, knowing that this morning is unfolding in its love, I just release it, let it go, know that everything is unfolding in divine order and divine perfection. And so it is.
Good morning, everyone. Have you ever wanted to call a timeout, request a do-over, request a fresh start, forget yesterday, and erase that word you said or that act you performed? Put behind you what is past and plow ahead, ignoring the rear view mirror, full steam ahead, a fresh start. But wait, isn't every second a fresh start? The people in this room never left each other. We were continually joined in love, in common respect, bound together in something neither time nor distance can unbind, united in a mutual search for an understanding of the true meaning of life. Recognition of the spirit that binds us together, the spirit that warms our hearts when we think of each other, quirks and all, every second is a fresh start for all of us. Joined now in person, but always joined in spirit. Thank you all for sharing this fresh start with me. A new second of enlightenment, a new second of understanding, a new second of celebration, a fresh start because I blinked my eyes, because I took a breath. Every second, a fresh start.
Wow, thank you. That was, I have to say, whenever Carol's the reader, I always have to think to myself, boy, I hope the message is as good as what she wrote. So in case you haven't guessed, my title today is A Fresh Start, right? So I want to begin. With two. I don't usually begin my messages this way, but I saw two quotes that really touched me this week, and I think speak to the message. And the first one is by a lady named Cynthia Thurlow, and she wrote, "Please understand this: bad chapters can still create great stories. Wrong paths can still lead to right places. Failed dreams can still create successful people. Sometimes it takes losing yourself to find yourself." And the second quote is from a lady named Danielle Kopka. And she said, "We have to keep on going, even when it's scary, even when all of our strength seems gone. We have to keep picking ourselves back up and moving forward, because whatever we're battling in the moment, it will pass and we will make it through. We've made it through this far. We can make it through whatever comes next." So, I was telling Reverend Jenny yesterday that I was going to talk about boxing today, and I thought she was going to run out of the restaurant. But whenever two people are in the ring, whether, now they have lady boxing too, so man or woman, when they're in the ring, if one of them gets knocked down, they have 10 seconds to get back up, or else they lose the fight. They're counted out. And when they're down, their corner people and their fans are all screaming, "Get up, get up." And when they get up, the fans cheer. And why do they cheer? They cheer because the fighter was knocked down, but not out. He or she overcame whatever obstacle there was, and then they continued on. And that's what life is about as we go after our dreams. It's in some way like stepping into the ring and confronting the opposition or the obstacles that we know are sometime going to come. And we need to keep on, even when we know something difficult may be about to happen. We need to step forward. And I want to just give you a quote that to me speaks to this. It's by Anonymous, who's written a lot of stuff. And the quote is, "When we walk to the edge of all the light we have and take a step into the darkness of the unknown, we must believe one of two things will happen. There will be something solid for us to stand on, or we'll be taught to fly." So I want to tell you a fable. And the fable is about some young boys that live in a town, a village, and they get together and decide that they want to fool the town wise person. They want to take on the village-wide person. And so what they decide to do is one of the boys puts a bird in his hand, and they say, we're going to go face the wise man, but this boy's going to keep the bird in his back so the wise man can't see it. And they're going to say to the wise man, is this bird dead or alive? And if he says the bird is alive, the young man's going to squeeze the life out of it and say, no, see, it's dead. And if he says it's dead, the young man's going to say, no, you see, it's alive. So they wait one day until the wise man is addressing a group of people, and they come forward and they say, wise man, I have a bird. Is the bird dead or alive? And the wise man thinks for a while, and he responds, the life you are holding is in your hands. The life you are holding is in your hands. And you know, that is true for all of us. The life we are holding, your life, my life, our life, is in our hands. And what we do with it is up to us. Ernest Holmes, who founded the Centers for Spiritual Living, Ernest Holmes said that the will of God is everything that expresses life and hurts nobody. He said anything that enables us to express greater life, greater happiness, greater power, greater love, all of that is ours. And as so long as it doesn't hurt anybody else, that's God's will for us, for you and for me. So as much good as we can conceive, we're able to express. And he and a fellow named Willis Kinnear wrote a book together, and they speak about that, and they use this example. And the example is on a construction project, if you'd see, construction workers, that small board after small board is put together to create a form. And into that form, concrete is poured. And they ask, what form does the concrete take? And the answer is the concrete has no choice but to conform to the shape of the form. And it doesn't matter how big the form is, how small the form is. And they say it's the same with our thoughts. One by one, our thoughts come in to our consciousness, and they establish this mold or pattern that's our entire body of thought, which in turn becomes the form for our experience. And so our thoughts, the thoughts that we have are limitless possibilities. They're filled with limitless possibilities. We can become more creative. We can have more prosperity. We can have deeper, loving relationships. We can heal ailments. So whatever we can imagine, we can do with our thoughts. So I was thinking this week that a lot of us admire, the Olympics are coming, and we've been reading, some of us, if you're interested, about some of the things that are going on at the Olympic trials. And a lot of us admire athletes. And, the truth is, any athlete, no matter who it is, we were just talking before about Tiger Woods, some of us, whether it's Tiger Woods or Mike Tyson or whoever, they're human just like we are. The difference between us and some of these really successful athletes is they want something bad enough that they're willing to do what it takes to achieve it or to become it. And years ago, I read a story that really speaks to this. So Steve Nash was in his prime a basketball player, and he was a really good great basketball player. In fact, he won the most valuable player award in the NBA twice. His brother wrote, I think they were doing a profile on Steve Nash in Sports Illustrated, and his brother got to speak to or write a part of it. And what his brother said was that he was probably a better athlete than Steve Nash. But he said Steve wanted it more. I think his brother played soccer. And they grew up in Canada. And in this article, his brother said, I can still picture him going out in the rain and the cold and shooting basket after basket after basket. And he said, you know, I have a really good life. I like my life. But there are times that I look back and I say to myself, what if I wanted it more? What could have been in my life? And it made me think, how much do we want our dream? How much are we willing to put in the work and the spiritual work? Or someday will we wonder what could have been? You know, the only thing that stops us in our life is our own belief. And we can harness it by making choices and by acting on them. We need to move beyond the dream and act on our choices. So Rabbi Erwin Kula, in one of his books, he asks a really interesting question. He said, are any of us the same person we were a decade ago? Are any of us the same person that we were? I see some people shaking their heads. No. And he writes, he said, it would blow your mind if you journal, if you could go back 10 years and read some of your journal entries, or if you could go back and read some of your love letters, or if you could go back and remember some of the plans that you had made that didn't come in to fruition. And he said, there is no single identity. What we call self is only a moment of truth. Think about that. What we call self is only a moment of truth. And that's the whole idea. You know, Carol's great writing. Any moment, we can start over. We can start fresh. And so along with what Rabbi Kula wrote, I read something this week in a book by Joan Borisenko, and she writes about a group of elders, women actually, that was sitting in a circle sharing their wisdom with younger women. And they were sharing on this question. Here's the question. Looking back over your lives, what's the most important insight you can share with us? Looking back over your lives, what's the most important insight you can share with us? And one of the women said, when you get to my age, you realize you're always in transition. The idea of a stable life, she said, is an illusion. Everything changes, like it or not. And she said, all you can do is live in the moment with gratitude. And she said, bad things happen and good things happen. It's just the fact of life. She said, but it's not so much what happens out here that matters. And she pointed to her heart and she said, it's what happens in here that makes all the difference. And, you know, I want to read something to you that's really personal. And it's just so funny because I was preparing to do this talk and I was actually on my computer looking for something else. And I found this piece that I wrote years ago that I forgot that I ever wrote. And I still don't remember why I wrote it. But I want to share it with you. And what it is, I had read years ago about a college professor that on the first evening of the class gave her class 2 questions for homework that she wanted them to write on and bring back the next class. And so here is one of the questions. And here's what again, I don't remember why I wrote it, but here's what I wrote in answer to this question. And if it seems a little different, I did it stream of consciousness. So this is just stream of consciousness writing. Here's the question. Well, actually, it's a statement. It is only after many surprises and choices, detours and disappointments that I have arrived at somewhere that I never could have anticipated. I'll read it again. It is only after many surprises and choices, detours and disappointments that I have arrived at somewhere I never could have anticipated. And this is what I wrote. Born in the Bronx, lonely childhood, military school, terrible experience. Somehow I make it through. Went to college, got 2 degrees, got married. Corporate career, move a lot, career not fulfilling, not sure where to turn. Marriage ends, she cheated, I'm devastated, not sure how to go on. Moved to California, liked the weather, not so much earthquakes. Still not happy with career, beginning to realize it's not about geography or different job. Something deeper needs to change. Not sure what. Feeling lonely and lost. Don't like job. Raising children by myself, harder than I thought. Blind date. Never met anybody like this. Fall in love. Get married. Find a church with a strange name. My life changes. Become a minister. I found it at last. My place in life. Look back. Who could have predicted? There are regrets for sure, missed opportunities, disappointments, pain, but mostly good. Wouldn't change a thing. They got me where I am. Sometimes look at my wife as she sleeps and think, there's been lots of pain, but being with her makes the trip here all worthwhile. How far I have come. Who would have guessed? I got a feeling that any one of you could have come up and written something really similar. You know, there's highs and lows, lows and highs, you know, and it's up to us to live through it and to make lemonade out of lemons, you know, to when the difficult times come, to turn them into learning experiences that could bring us to greater and greater places. So years ago, I read a really great book titled Callings by a fellow named Greg Lavoie. It is a really good book. And in fact, I have a workshop on it. Maybe we could do sometime. And in the book, he has a vignette about a 7-year-old girl speaking to her dad. And her dad is an artist. And she says to her dad, "Dad, what do you do at work?" And her dad says, I work at a college. I teach people how to draw." And she looks at him incredulous. And she says, "You mean they forget?" And it made me think, you know, the truth is, yet sometimes we all forget who we are and why we're here. But we can ask ourselves questions to help ourselves get on track. And it was really interesting to me. I always, I know this, but it's always cool when I can read during the week to prepare a message and get it reinforced and reinforced. But I can't tell you how many spiritual writers say the best way to get back on track is to ask yourself some questions. So here is some questions that you can ask yourself. And later, if you want them, I'll be glad to send them out. Simple stuff like, what is right for me? Where am I willing to be led? What feedback is my life giving me? Is my energy shriveling or growing? Is my life deepening? And there are plenty of others. I just picked some random ones, but these are questions we can journal on or meditate on or whatever to just go deeper. So I want to do one last thing, one last thought. And this is, do you all know who Leo Biscaglia is? He was a professor at UCLA, and he had a life transformation, and he started classes, I believe it was on loving. And I read something that he wrote, and it was in response to, I don't know if he heard people saying this or he read an article where they said it, but people were saying things like, when I get enough money, I'll do it. When the kids are grown, I'll go back to school. When I get that bonus, I'll buy the piano and take lessons. And what Biscaglia wrote, he said, you never will. If you're not doing it now, you never will do it. Don't wait for tomorrow to do what you want to do. Do it now, because now is all there is. Now is all that is real. So I want to end with a poem that I think I might have read this a few months ago. It's titled Barely the Day Started by a lady named Veronica Robinson. Barely the day started, and it's already 6 p.m. Barely arrived on Monday, and it's already Friday. And the month is already over, and the year is almost over. And already 40, 50, 60 years of lives have passed. And we realized we lost our parents, friends. And we realized it's too late to go back. So let's try, despite everything, to enjoy the remaining time. Let's keep looking for activities that we like. Let's put some color into the gray. Let's smile at the little things in life that puts balm in our hearts. And despite everything, we must continue to enjoy with serenity this time we have left. Let's try to eliminate the afters. I'm doing it after. I'll say it after. I think about it after. We leave everything for later, like after is ours, because what we don't understand is that afterwards, the coffee gets cold. Afterwards, priorities change. Afterwards, the charm is broken. Afterwards, health passes. Afterwards, the kids grow up. Afterwards, parents get old. Afterwards, promises are forgotten. Afterwards, the day becomes the night. Afterwards, life ends. And then it's often too late. So let's leave nothing for later, because still waiting, see you later, we can lose the best moments, the best experiences, the best friends, the best family. The day is today. The moment is now. God bless you. It's good to be back. Have a great week.